January 30th, 2022. We have finally reached Championship Sunday. We got two monster games today. I'm pretty sure all four of us are gonna have some disagreements on these games today.
Know
But
that.
know that, know that, know that. So we can jump straight into it. Now, we got the Cincinnati Bengals visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. We are under an hour away from kickoff. And the Kansas City Chiefs are a full touchdown favorite over the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, think about this: is the Cincinnati Bengals all season have not been anything more than a 6.5, I believe, point underdog in any game, and that was Week 18 against the Cleveland Browns. Matter of fact. So, first of all, what do you guys think about that?
I think that the fact that the Bengals got away with the victory last week with Tannehill throwing 3 touchdowns, they cannot hope for the same result in this game. If they think that they're going to be able to take 9 sacks and the other quarterback going to be able to fumble the game, it's not going to happen. So I think the Chiefs are just too much of a juggernaut when it comes to this matchup.
Yeah, I feel that same way. I feel like they're looking at 7 point again away. I believe they're getting in the way because they're looking at how they played last week against Tennessee. The 9 sacks. You cannot do that with Kansas City. You do that, yeah, it might get blowed out. They're looking at it. They on the road. I'm saying AFC Championship game in Kansas City. The inexperience. So I think they're making on that. That's why they gave themselves. Like you just said, they just played them with week 8, week 16, 17 or something like that. Yeah. It was a tight game. Them folk going toe for toe. I'm saying 3-point loss. So what the hell make you go from them folk winning by 3 points to now we're going to give them 7 points? Some got to push you that way. So I'm thinking they looking at last week against Tennessee and the AFC Championship game in Kansas City with the inexperience by Cincinnati. That's why they get themselves. I think so.
But here's the thing. So last week they played a Bills offense. That's good, but I feel like this Bengals offense, besides the quarterback play, is a little bit better. And what I mean by that is at the wideout position and the running back position. So I mean, if that defense gave up, how many points it was? Over 30. Last week it was over 30, right?
30 point.
No, obviously that had a lot to do with Tyrann Mathieu being out with the concussion. He is a GOAT today, so he's going to play for the Chiefs. But I mean, to me, this offense is just better. The Bengals have been on a roll this postseason, and I believe the teams that win are the ones that get hot and they're going to roll. So I think the Bengals might pull the upset today.
So that's pretty much me and Fidel. But all right, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna try to make as big of a case for the Bengals as I can.
Good luck.
All right, so I'll touch on a few things like we touched on during your podcast. Matter of fact, know that back on Wednesday. Thing is this: if we go back to that previous matchup, yes, the Bengals did win by a field goal, but being able to win that game and being able to win that game, whether it's at home or on the road, being that young, it meant a lot. So they can go. So therefore, they can, for one, go into this matchup knowing we can handle this team. Second, the Kansas City Chiefs really do not do the same things defensively that the Tennessee Titans do. They don't run anywhere near as many stunts. They don't call as many odd man blitzes. They prefer to try to get things going, get things wrecked in the middle of the line with Chris Jones, and then maybe get something going with the ends on the outside. But for the most part, they're not going to attack him as heavy as Tennessee did. I think, the Chiefs pretty much at the end of the day, they are who they are. I don't expect them to come out today with a brand new game plan defensively. Also, another thing, everybody's expected to play. The Kansas City pretty much that's nicked up. I believe Tyrann Mathieu is still questionable at the moment. He playing?
I seen him walk in. I seen him when he walked in the arena. He playing. They say he playing.
Cool. So
everybody get that shot today. Everybody get that pain-eating shot today to take away your pain.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
I'm about to get one too, just for that.
but that's what I'm saying. If you look at it for what it is, and I understand that the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line was terrible last week. I'm pretty sure they're not going to perform as bad this week as they did last week. And then considering the fact that I don't think they're going to have to deal with as many blocking assignments as they had to deal with against Tennessee last week. Therefore, I think that alone is going to make this offense better. We know Cincinnati for sure is going to give Mixon the ball. Now, Mixon only had 12 touches. He only had 12 carries that last game, but they still managed to win by a field goal. So we know Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow, they're willing to give Mixon the ball if they have to. We don't know what Kansas City we can really expect today. Like, is Kansas City going to feel like, you know what? We did it against the Bills last week. We back. We about to do it against Cincinnati too. Because going into a game like this with that type of thinking, it can put you in a situation where, okay, tip balls. Look what happened to Ryan Tannehill last week. You can make the argument that 2 of those interceptions wasn't even his fault. But once you start putting that ball in the air across that middle and downfield, things start to happen. Everybody has a game plan until something happens. And then it forces you to abandon that game plan.
So you say we virtually know that what the name Zach? What the coach?
Zach Taylor?
Yeah, Zach Taylor. We know we virtually can predict or think that Zach Taylor gonna run the ball. When the last time they played Kansas City, they wide receiver had 239 yards.
You're right, but that's the thing. But that's the thing. He may not have to. But they know. I'm pretty sure if they need to, they didn't really have to run it against Kansas City.
But I mean, that game was just one of those games that, I mean, it was just a passing game. And that kind of happens. Sometimes the game plans go out the window, and you just got to go with it.
Who said they coach? His coach ain't got the mind frame the same we had in week 17 or 16, whichever what name they were.
17.
But we got to shoot out with these folks. We got to outscore them because you know Kansas City come out and throw the ball. We know
that's the
throw
thing.
the ball.
If Kansas City come out and defensively show them those type of fronts and show them those type of coverages that they want to see, then yeah. I mean, if you're gonna give it to Zach Taylor, he's gonna take it. That's the whole thing. So it's up to Kansas City whether or not they're gonna give it to him.
But look, let's just say this real quick. Look, the Chiefs are here because the Bills, they messed up at the end last game. I mean, that's the only reason why we're even talking about Chiefs Bengals today, right? So to me, they got bailed out last week and towards the end. Not saying they didn't deserve the win. They won the football game. They had to score points, and they did in 13 seconds and whatnot. But look, I just feel like this Bengals offense is a lot better and a lot smarter than what the Bills were last week. My worry is the offensive line. If it's going to, give Joe enough time to throw the football to give it a chase.
The offensive line is going to do the same thing it's been doing all season. Right, Joe Burrow is already one of the most sacked quarterbacks in whatever his 1 or 2 year tenure is in the NFL. Right,
he got sacked 9 times.
The offensive line gave up 9 sacks last week during the regular season. I want to say Joe Burrow is probably top 5, top 10 in sacked quarterbacks.
Yes.
So I think we can expect, based on the pattern, Cincinnati's offensive line is going to have a hard time. If we look at last week, that was there were some opportunities from the Buffalo Bills. That's the number 1 defense in the NFL. They put up 40 points on. The Cincinnati Bengals defense is not number 1. I don't even know if they in the top 10.
What's your boy name is, Walt? What's your boy name is?
Who?
Barbecue chicken. So Bobby.
Pro Bowl season.
You know what I'm saying? So
Pro Bowl
I think the key, you brought it up, Tyrann Mathieu playing. I think that's where Buffalo actually started to have success offensively when Tyrann Mathieu went out of the game early. I think if Tyrann Mathieu plays in that game, it doesn't go the same way. But I think, again, to your point, if Cincinnati wants a chance to win this game, they're going to have to run the ball. They cannot beat Kansas City in the shootout.
Okay, then I'm ask. I heard you just say this. You were like, Buffalo lost that game last week.
Yeah, they lost it.
Yeah, we'll say.
Yeah.
So when you just came to Cincinnati, so you telling me you like Cincinnati coach over Buffalo coach?
I didn't say that.
I know you do. I'm just trying to do a compare. Cincinnati coach over Buffalo coach and Josh Allen over Joe Burrow or Joe Burrow over Josh Allen. Coming in ball there too, that we feel I got going on. If Cincinnati come out there and beat Kansas City, whatever that coach name, he got to have a better coaching plan than got their McDermott.
Andy Reid.
But I mean, how many times have we seen situations when it comes down to situational football towards the end of the football game? It doesn't matter who's the best coach, who's the best quarterback. It's the one that makes the best decision to put your team to win the football game.
It doesn't matter about the best coach, because that situation is the coach make that decision. He make a bad decision at the DDT.
But look, we're talking about Andy Reid should have been out. Last weekend. So, I mean, you get what I'm saying? It's situational football, though.
But I think one thing that helps you in situational football is what? Experience.
Yes.
So you got to think about the individual players who has more experience in these type of games. You got to look at the Chiefs. The Bengals are a talented team, but I think at this point in the season, it's about who, like you said, who can make those plays in the vital times. And usually the players, just like those 13 seconds, Kansas City knew they could do it. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't any hesitation from that offense. Kelsey knew he could get open. Tyreek Hill knew he could get open. So from that standpoint, that shows you that they have the experience to win that situational football that you're referring to.
Well, let me ask you guys this. If you guys are the Bengals defense and you guys have to take a one player on that offense, who is it? Is it Hill? Is it Kelsey?
To be real, man, I don't think you can I don't think you'll take away nobody.
That's an excellent question.
I'm just saying, if that Bengals defense is going to focus on one player on that offensive,
you can't do it. You're going to beat them like that. You're not going to beat them.
Honestly, I think the player you want to take away is number 15.
Make them folk go 8 and dump the ball down. Keep everything in front of you. Make them folk be disciplined.
Underneath, everything underneath.
Will they turn around and run the ball? Make them do that. So let's see what they do. Will that cocky shit that was coming on in the beginning of the year they were doing, thinking we're going to throw the ball there, play, and I don't give a damn about all that. We're going to got them still try it. See if they still got that, they done left that mentality in the regular season, they're going to play football the way it is. But I don't know, we're going to bracket him, and but I'm going to find somebody to go on top on. Everybody fast. Them folk put 5 folks out there who run a goddamn 4-4.
I'm going to just say this. I'm going to say this about Cincinnati's offensive line. Now, what was the one thing I think everybody noticed last week about most of those sacks? Like, I'm not even going to say most of them, but I'm going to say this. A decent amount of those are cover sacks. And why were those cover sacks? Now this part of the blame comes down on Zach Taylor or whoever, because if you know good and well you can't handle these numbers that they consistently bring it to you, you have to run shorter routes. You can't keep running all these 10-yard digs. You can't keep running all these 15-yard outs and all these outposts.
Step drops and shit like that. 7-step drops.
They were still putting him in 7-step drop situations. If they just clean that up and figure out ways. Now, think of this. They already run out a decent amount of quads, a decent amount of trips. That's nothing new to Cincinnati. If you keep Kansas City in that type of situation defensively, where now you've got Chris Jones moving laterally, because there's really no threat on the interior for them to run the ball if everything is in quads, everything is in trips. So now you're in a situation where you got Chris Jones moving laterally. You got Frank Clark moving laterally. Now you've got the middle of the field open. Now you can give Chase some reverses. You can give him some quick slants. That's how you pretty much get the Chiefs in a situation where now they have to keep going ahead. Because what Alaire's playing right, but he's got the shoulder injury. He can't even give them a full game.
Jet McKinnon.
Yeah, and he's been playing good, man. I think Darrell Williams gives you a better chance too.
I like him. He came from Minnesota, didn't
he? He ain't no Mixon.
He was with the Niners too.
He ain't no Joe Mixon.
He played for Minnesota. Did he play for y'all, right?
Yeah.
I know about that. Fan now. Shout it fan.
Hey man, he was good. It was just he was injured when he was with the Niners pretty much all the time.
The whole time.
He gonna be out number one back.
Yeah.
Shout it fast as hell.
When he got injured.
7 points. So y'all see they cut.
I think to go back to Fidel's question about what player do you want to stop, I think you want to stop number 15, Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? I think really, if you think about the way the Chiefs offense is set up, he's the point guard. If you can get pressure on the point guard, if you can cause him to struggle like he was early in the year, which is what he was doing, if you could cause him to double clutch, all of those players, Kelsey, Hardeman, Tyreek Hill, all of those players become irrelevant because he starts to force the football. He starts to get sacked. He starts to get pressured. So I think because of the way the Chiefs offense is set up, you got to want to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes, and you want to be able to be disciplined in your rushes. And that's where I think Buffalo lost a lot of hidden yards, is in those little 6 yards, 7 yards, sometimes 20, 30-yard scrambles that Mahomes was getting.
You can't let him do that at all. All those Michael Vick ass shit, you can't let him do that at all.
Yeah.
Anytime, because when the ball after, that's the last result. When he do that, That's his case of emergency breakdown.
Well,
like this Bengals team, it reminds me a lot of the Buffalo Bills team from last year that went to Kansas City to play against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And we saw what happened last year.
The inexperience happened. Last year.
Yep.
yeah, I think my opinion is going to come down to how this game is officiated. Because when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I noticed different officiating crews, they have different ways of handling the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Sometimes, whenever it's a game where they allow those corners to get up there and get physical and mug and press and grab,
they make it look like they good.
That makes it.
You ain't lie about that.
Yeah, that Chiefs defense looks a whole lot better when those
You know,
corners can get
I don't know
their
now
Mike
cornerback
Haynes
on
on.
their team. I don't know now cornerback name on their team except Matthew. I don't know now another cornerback on their team.
Thing is
I gotta
this.
grab my charger right quick. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah, but when they're not allowed to, and teams and officials say, you know what, no, get y'all asses out there and actually cover with your feet and not with your hands. Now you got a game where Jamar Chase, Higgins, Boyd, any one of those guys can have a 140 game today. Any one of them.
But
So
when they do that though, I think the cornerback get timid and get scared then for Kansas City. So that means now you got that they getting them a cushion. They really can't play the way they really want to play because they doing the goddamn getting up on the field scouting shit. That's how they play.
yeah.
Okay, so if they got if the referee start getting on that shit, the cornerback start getting timid, get scared, and got them. If any wide receiver see that, where they're trying to eat, a real wide receiver and a quarterback, they on the same page. Where they're trying to eat. Anytime they get that. Anytime.
Kendall Whitley, how you doing, brother?
What's up,
What's
bro?
good, guys? What's good? What's good?
Same old thing, man. Same old thing. You know what the P doing?
Yes, sir. Where y'all at?
I'm at home.
How the Bengals gonna lose?
Y'all talking?
Had to change y'all up. So, Kendall, real quick, who you got? Cincinnati, Kansas City.
My heart says Cincinnati. My head says the Chiefs. I'm gonna go with my head. I'm going with the Chiefs in a close one.
You think they cover the 7? Oh, so you got them covering the 7?
Yeah.
Well, they ain't gonna cover the points. I don't know, man. That's 7 points though. It still feels kind of disrespectful. Like, this is a good Cincinnati team. I understand the offensive line was what it was, but since like Vegas and no books for that matter, has disrespected Cincinnati like that this season. To only be a 6.5 point underdog for any game this season, period. They was an 11.5 point underdog against the Jets. Favorite over the Jets. So 7 points just seems kind of a little iffy to me.
Well, that's good for the bettors out there that are watching this. If you
Of
bet on
course.
the game, +7 Cincinnati is a pick.
How many of y'all would take the 7?
I would take the 7. I think the Chiefs will win the game, but I think, like y'all
I'd take
said,
the 7.
the game.
I already took the 7. So.
I don't want it.
Close game.
I'm telling you, I just feel like I'm banking on the NSP, man. I'm banking on goddamn they're gonna be a false start. Now you gotta goddamn you had a 3rd and 2, but you're gonna get a false start. Now you got a 3rd and 7.
Here's the other thing too that
I'm banking on
think. Here's the other thing that I think that we also need to take into consideration. Playing at Arrowhead, it's really loud.
Mm-hmm.
Young quarterback. We heard Joe Burrow last week say that his headset went out a couple of times, so I think he had to call 3 plays without Zach Taylor telling him what plays to call. So I think that's going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on as well.
So, Walt, you don't think they cover the 7?
Yeah, I got Cincinnati winning 28-24.
Okay.
So that's the other thing we got to take into consideration too. It's going to be loud. It's going to be really loud. It's going to be way louder than it was last week in Tennessee for the Bengals.
Big Block said a few minutes ago about the Bills defense was the number 1 defense, but Cincinnati defense, I don't know where their defense rank at.
They 5th against the run, and I believe they're mid-20s against the Packers.
Because they played week 17, I think it was.
Too bad they playing a team that don't really like running the football.
When they played week 17 or 18, Kansas City still put up 30-something points and lost.
Yep.
There's 34-31.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be a close one. It's gonna come down to who has the ball. I want Cincinnati to win because I can't take another 4 off season of people talking about Mahomes and the Chiefs. So
That's gonna happen regardless.
Yeah,
whether they win or lose.
Yeah, but
they were talking about this morning how he's going to be a better quarterback than Tom Brady.
And I'm tired. I don't know.
They couldn't wait to do that. You know, they couldn't wait to start that.
And listen,
they couldn't wait to start that
in the morning and listen to first thing first to hear Nick Wright talking about the Chiefs all damn week. I don't
even want to talk about Nick Wright.
I'm tired of
it. You know he gonna go off.
You know it. Plants.
I like Nick Wright too.
All right, so we got what?
We got 25 minutes.
All right, so we got 3 Chiefs and 2 Bengals.
Yes, sir.
And I thought I was gonna be by myself.
No, you already knew that. Everybody picking the Chiefs.
Big Block, how you feeling about your Niners?
Oh, we about to win, baby.
Greatest question in the world. You
just win, baby.
Hey.
If there was any team you would rather face, go ahead, Walt. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna leave it to you. I'm gonna give it to you. So, what's the number on that game right now, Block?
The spread?
Yeah.
3.5.
3.5.
3. Okay.
That's basically a coin flip.
All right. So I'm gonna start with you. Tell me why San Francisco is gonna win this game.
We beat the Rams 5 times in a row with lesser versions of our team. This is probably the healthiest we've been all season. Trent Williams didn't play the last game. Elijah Mitchell, I want to say he played. We were Dante Johnson was playing safety. We had Quez Bernard at nickel. Say what?
Is it y'all beat them 6 times? I thought it was 6 times in a row.
Yeah, 6 times in a row.
Y'all done beat the Rams 6 times in a row.
Yeah, you shortchanging y'all.
Yeah, my bad. 6 times.
They're gonna make it sound.
I lose track. It's so many times.
That's the thing that scares me. Y'all done beat them so many times in a row. At some point, the ball gonna bounce the other way. Y'all not gonna keep doing.
I agree. Nah, I agree totally. That's the thing that I was talking because my neighbor just happened to be a 49er fan too. It's crazy. I moved like 45 minutes away, and the dude is a 49er fan too. But that's what I was talking about. But I think the difference is they had an experience of that earlier this season, right? Where we played the Cardinals and Colt McCoy was starting and Hopkins was out, and we was like, oh, it's about to go down, and then we got beat. I think that game gave them a lot of experience to not take anybody lightly. I think since that game, you saw every game they come to play. I think defensively, we will be able to get pressure on Stafford, and he struggles with that. I think offensively, we can run the ball enough on the Rams to be able to win the game, just like we did against last week against the Packers.
Who want to comment on that?
Well,
go ahead.
Look, the Niners are one of the hottest teams in the NFL. Obviously, that's why they're in this game today against the Rams. They do have the Rams number. They beat them six times in a row. And earlier in the year when they were struggling, that Monday Night Football game, they whooped their ass. I mean, honestly, it wasn't even close. Matt Stafford played a really good game last weekend against the Buccaneers. The game of his life so far, his career, right? Got him to be in the NFC Championship game. I hope they practice a silent count because SoFi is going to be full of Niner fans, and I'm sure they're expecting that already. But look, I think the Rams have more talent than what the Niners do. I'm not saying they're the better team, but to me, I think that's what's going to make the difference in the end. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to turn the ball over once or twice, and that's what's going to cost the Niners the game.
And he has turned the ball over these past 2 postseason games. He's done it. He's made 2 of them Jimmy G throws. He's done that. So,
and we still here.
Maybe the 3rd time is a charm. Maybe time is a charm because this Rams team is complete, man.
Yeah, they're good.
We done twice this year, but this is a good Rams team. And then listen, in the back of the Rams' head, they know if they win this game, guess what? They know they home next week for the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they home next week, so they're gonna come out and play extra. I mean, it's a championship game, so both teams. I want to say the one team will be more motivated, but you got to, the Rams made the moves they made to win, not just get to the Super Bowl, not just get to the NFC Championship game. They made these moves to win it all. They brought in Stafford, Von Miller, O'Neal. They made these moves. Right. Nobody thought the Niners would be this far.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. All the pressure to perform today is on the Rams because of the points you just made, right? A lot of people didn't expect us to be here. So we playing with house money And that's when you go into a game like that, you play a lot better. You play a lot more free. You're not thinking about it as much. Think about how early it was. As soon as we won the Green Bay game, this man's wife on Twitter worried about ticket sales, like literally the next day. So you think she feel like that because Matthew Stafford feel different? Nah, she getting that from Matt. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I know a couple in LA that Kelly Stafford, I believe is her name, right? Sent tickets to. And she got a nice email and whatnot. So I mean, yeah, it's pretty funny that they all panic to go buy tickets and whatnot.
If the Niners or the Bengals lose, if both teams lose, who's going to give a damn if the Niners or the Bengals lose?
That's what I'm saying.
They're going to give a damn. What do you mean?
Listen, if we not gonna lose, but if we lose, all that's gonna happen is everybody gonna be like, "You right? This is what should have happened. This how it's supposed to be. They shouldn't have been here." So we got no pressure, you know what I'm saying, to win this game. But to your point, the Rams put all these draft picks up. They brought Stafford to town. This is a different Rams team. OBJ is more entrenched in the offense now. Von Miller seems to be healthier from his ankle. But I think, again, the problem with it, like you said, they are the more talented team, but do they play team football together? And that's, I think, where they struggle. They have a lot of individual players who get out of position because they want to make a highlight play instead of just filling the hole. You know what I'm saying? Take on the double team, knock out the lead blocker so that the linebacker can fill. Our team is full of players who are more than willing to not make the play, to just be part of the machine, and that's why we win.
Look, as long as Sean McVay doesn't run into the end zone after Cooper Kupp scores, I think the Rams were going to win this game. But he can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say this. Personally, I think the Rams are just hot right now. Now, could the 49ers extinguish that? They certainly could. But listen, I'm going to say this defensively. This is the issue with Stafford and that 49er defense. They bring pressure with 4 people. They have linebackers who can get back and cover, and they're very patient within that cover 2 and that cover 3. So if you do all 3 of those things against Stafford, he gets impatient. That's why you see majority of Stafford's interceptions this season came downfield, which is kind of unacceptable because you can see everything downfield. The coverage unfolds itself in front of you downfield. So for you to be a veteran and still be throwing that many interceptions downfield is alarming. But it's going to come down to whether or not he's patient.
And I think
they know how to play him, and that's the thing about it.
But here's the other thing, too. So, I mean, the Niners defense is good, but if they have a weakness, it's going to be in that secondary, right? And we've yet to see a team take advantage of that.
But they're so good. But they're so good within the front 7, it really doesn't matter.
But you got to make something happen, man. You got to when you see your shot, you got to take it. You can't be scared. Yeah, I know you don't want to throw an interception. It's a championship game. You have to leave it all out on the field. You got to take advantage.
You don't want to throw 4 picks, though.
The Rams was up 17.
You're absolutely right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said the Rams was up. I think it was 20-zip or 17-zip the last
17 point. It was about 17 point the last time they played.
Okay, and that's in the back. That's in the back of the Rams' head as well.
And they got it real simple, man. To be truthful, the Rams got to do 2 things. Exactly what I think Block said. This. Everybody got to do their assignment. Do what you're supposed to do. Get your place. You go to the gap, do your gap. They do that. And match the physicality of the 49ers. If they do them 2 things, Tally will overbeat the 49ers, and Jimmy G going to give them what they want. Simple math. It ain't
Trent Williams.
It's not that hard.
What's the word on Trent Williams?
He's playing.
Questionable, but he probably going to play. Yeah, he going to play.
Championship game, he gonna play.
I think you brought up a great point about the defensive backs. The only thing I'll say opposite to that is, again, we've had these same trash defensive backs against Cincinnati, against Aaron Rodgers, against the Rams twice. And these are some of the most high-powered offenses in the NFL, and they were having a very difficult time. So again, yes, that is the weakness, but no one has really been able to. I would say maybe the Colts game with Josh Norman, where they were able to take advantage of it. The Titans game, we had a couple of lapses in coverage, but nobody's really been able to take advantage of it to the way that everybody thinks they can.
The less Josh Norman is on the field, the better for the Niners.
Hey, if Josh Norman on the field, it's a
Look, a couple weeks back against the Pack, or last week against the Packers, I think he was in 3 snaps on Devontae Adams.
Yeah, and they threw to it like all 3 times.
Yep.
I would love to see a Josh Norman and Odell Beckham match of the day. That would be great.
Oh
Man.
I would not like you. I would not like you.
I would love to see it too. I would love to.
You know how y'all feel about the Kansas City Cincinnati game? About like it should be a shootout of the close game, whatever. I feel this way about the 49er game. I don't think it's gonna be no shootout. You know what I'm saying? But I think it should be a pretty good close game.
The thing I like about
run the ball. I know 49ers finna come run the ball. You know what I'm saying? They finna come try to run the ball. So you just gotta match that physicality. Do what you're supposed to do. If you gotta hit this gap, hit your gap. You gotta hit that fullback, kick that fullback. Do your job, man. It's a low-scoring game. I don't think it's gonna be no big shootout, no big old Matthew Stafford over 300-something yard. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a slow fix. I think it's gonna be a slow fix. But I think the Rams defense gonna got them win this slow fix. Because they gonna dawn them, Vaughn, they gonna win this slow fix.
The thing I like about the Niners is they can just rush 4 and get to the quarterback. They don't have to blitz. They can get there with just 4 linemen. And that's why the Niners secondary is not good, but hell, you're not gonna have time to get to them because they can get to you.
They got 8. They went 7 folk back there.
Right. They got Joey Bosa. They got we forget about Arden Key from LSU. He's playing pretty good.
Yeah.
Look,
Armstead.
To me, either the Niners are going to win because of Jimmy Garoppolo, or they're going to lose because of Jimmy Garoppolo.
We know they're going to lose because of Jimmy G, though. We know they're going to do that. We know that. We know that part.
Hey, y'all keep waiting on Jimmy G to turn into a pumpkin, baby. He just keep winning. You know what I'm saying? So just keep waiting.
About to strike midnight.
Hey, maybe next week. Maybe next week.
I see a not almost a Trent Dilfer. That's all I see. Almost.
This 49ers team reminds me of the New York Giants some years ago when they went in the Patriots in the Super Bowl the first time. This team reminds me of because you remember they had Strahan and
Tuck, Omen Yora.
This team reminds me.
Garoppolo ain't no Eli.
I was that Giants.
I ain't trying to take every show or nothing like that, but can we have some bold predictions on both of these guys, you know?
Sure.
Hey, I just want to say something right quick. I'm looking at the San Francisco 49ers schedule from the regular season, looking at some of their losses. Tennessee got them. That's a very physical football team at the line of scrimmage. The Indianapolis Colts got them. That's a very physical football team at the line of scrimmage. Now, Seattle beat them twice, which is strange.
Divisional games are different, man.
Yeah, but twice, though. Explain that, Block. Twice.
We have a hard time with Russell Wilson. Honestly, we have a hard time with Russell Wilson. That's it.
So yeah, it's Arizona got you twice. But I think Arizona just there.
Man, Arizona, you can't trust them.
You know what's weird about that division?
I want to say Matty Phil Scatter, but I don't know what to say. When did they play the 49? Early in the year with J.J. Watson.
Yeah.
The first time, both times they had J.J. Watson, he didn't play one game.
Yeah. He didn't play the second game.
The thing that's weird about that division is that every team in the NFC West has a team that gets a matchup.
That's a great division in football.
Yeah, that's every division. So I don't know. I think the Rams right now they hot.
And
Listen, the Rams struggled to cover Rob Gronkowski at 400 years old and Scotty Miller and Tyler fucking Johnson. Do you really think they're gonna be able to stop Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk? There is no way in hell you can say that.
The last time a New England Patriots quarterback seen the Rams defense, they ate that man.
Yeah.
So they finna see another former New England Patriot quarterback finna eat that man.
Yeah. Yeah. I think offensively the 49ers like to beat up your DBs. You know, they force your DBs to come up and tackle a whole lot. That's a whole lot of Kittle. There's a whole lot of Debo. There's a whole lot of 4 or 5 different running backs getting touches. Then they're able to get you downfield once it's so much of that coming up as kind of ceased. So It's close, man. It's a toss up for me, but I think it's hard to really beat a team 3 times in one season, especially when both teams are really good. Like this isn't a good team versus a bad team. Like both of these teams are legit Super Bowl contenders. And I just don't see the Rams really faltering again. I think they know what's really at stake. Not to say that the 49ers don't, because they know what's at stake too, but sometimes it just feels like right now it means more to the Rams than it does to the 49ers because they have to get over that hump.
They're stressed out. They're stressed out.
The pressure is on the Rams. The pressure's on the Rams.
All the pressure on the Rams. Every bit of it on the Rams. All the pressure on the Rams.
Everybody picking the Chiefs.
Besides Boomer Esiason, of course.
Hey, before we get off, I just want to say, Fidel, appreciate y'all for taking McDaniels from the Patriots. I appreciate that, man. His play calling.
All right. Hey, we'll see when Mac Jones has a horrible year next year.
Hold on. You glad he gone?
I'm so glad he's gone, bro. Who called? Bro, listen. Hold on. Nobody knows my team more than I do. Who calls a shotgun draw on 3rd and 10? Come on.
Hold on. You want to know who called a quarterback draw on 3rd and 10?
Kellen Moore.
You got that right, Trey.
I take Kellen Moore over Josh because the last
Joe Judge.
Did you hear what?
Hey, remember the date?
Did you hear what?
The 30th of January. What you said, and when Mac Jones degresses next year, you're gonna. I'm gonna remind you. Hey,
I also remember what McDaniels did. Hey, I also remember what McDaniels did in Denver. He was there for a year or so, and they got
how long was that? How long was that?
It was a while. Hey, I hope y'all. He
had a cup of coffee there with Kyle Orton.
Hey, look.
Wow.
This has disaster written all over it.
What did you hear that man say? He'll take out that Kellen Moore over goddamn Josh McDaniels right now. Did you hear that man just say that?
Yep.
Well, that man that went crazy. You can't tell me that man ain't went crazy.
A man that hates to be wrong.
Fidel.
That's why he said that.
Fidel. So what is the quarterback situation then with the Raiders?
Harstein. They're going to extend him.
You know confident state.
I've been told that's one of the reasons why he was attracted to the job.
Derek Carr?
Yep.
Well, all right then.
Let's think about it. Look, they had everything that could happen to this team last year. It did. Everything. And they still made the playoffs. And
you can do a lot worse than Derek Carr, trust me.
And
of course.
They took the Bengals to the last minute.
A lot of Raiders fans are not happy about the McDaniels hire.
You know why they're not happy? Because it's not the splashy hire. They don't know anything.
Because they wanted Jim Harbaugh. They want the big name Jim Harbaugh. That's why.
But my thing is, where's Brian Flores going to go?
He might end up there. But I heard that Wink Martindale might be the new DC for the Raiders in Vegas. So we'll see.
I just can't believe that man say he'll take Kellen Moore.
Real quick. What's the best?
Fuck me up, man. Just fuck me.
Real quick before we get out, what's the best remaining job that's out there? I think it's the Vikings.
Minnesota.
They finna get Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. I still think it's Jacksonville.
Really?
Wow. You gotta get the right.
What, because of the weather? Because of the weather?
No, I'm saying. You talking about from my perspective, like what I would want to take. What I would want to take.
The stadium does have a pool. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about.
I heard they have excellent VIP service there too. So.
Yeah, but I mean, look. If you look at it, if you look at it, you got plenty of draft picks. You got over $100 million in cap space, and you got a quarterback. So if you look at all of that money that they got and the draft picks alone. One thing I don't have to worry about is a quarterback.
Right.
I got a couple of defensive ends. Josh Allen, the black Josh Allen. he's pretty good. He's pretty good. So, yeah. So I mean, I like it. I like the Jacksonville position. I don't know.
Hold on. Y'all will you take the New Orleans job right now or the Jacksonville job right now?
Jacksonville.
Hell no. I'm taking Jacksonville. New Orleans has no money.
I take Jacksonville.
The Saints have no money. Like that team, the way that team is currently constructed ain't gonna be that way.
I thought somebody want to say, "Well, I'll take the Saints." I don't know about you, treat.
Why would you do that?
I think
Kellen there. You're trying to repair the cap situation.
Exactly.
That's the point I bring about the Jacksonville job opportunity right now. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, if I get Jacksonville, I have the opportunity to build that team in my complete vision
But here's the
from the
thing,
ground
Walt.
up.
Here's the thing with Minnesota. I think they're the best football team in that division. I think Aaron Rodgers is leaving. He's gonna be gone. He's probably gonna go to Denver. This is Minnesota's division to lose. I feel like. I know Chicago got a new coach. They got some pieces, but they're still, I think, a couple of years away from actually being serious contenders for the division. So I think Minnesota's the best job out there. Think about it offensively, just offensively. They got Justin Jefferson, one of the best young wide receivers in the league. They still have Adam Thielen. They got Dalvin Cook. They got Madison, Kirk Cousins.
And then you got Kirk Cousins.
They got
Hold on. Look, Kirk is not the worst in the league, but he's not the best in the league. He's in the middle, so it's okay. It's not the worst case scenario.
Okay, but you know what? And I'm gonna counter what you just said with this. They got all of those ancillary parts, but they soft in the middle. Like that offensive line is terrible. You know why those games between the Lions and Vikings were so close this season? Because we dominated them at the line of scrimmage in both games.
But they have an offseason to fix that.
I can't believe we selling Kirk Cousins as a benefit after the way y'all just talked about Jimmy G. I am
That's all it is. That's it. We talking about the same guy.
If Kirk was playing quarterback for the Niners, I would be more confident in them winning this game.
Hell no. What? Bro, Kirk Cousins hasn't even won an important Monday Night Football game.
I was in the daytime and then on Monday, you right.
Kirk Cousins hasn't even won a Monday Night Football game that's important. Let alone
that's the quarterback you wanted. That's the quarterback you wanted.
Man, listen, we got 2 weeks before the Super Bowl to discuss this. Big matter of fact, I want to have you guys on next week so we can just discuss some freelance football things, the season in general.
Yes, sir.
But hey,
we are.
Man, hats off to the Bengals though for getting this far, man. For like,
hey man, don't start that. Don't start.
Don't start. We gotta get that shot to the 49er, man. Forgot that man for making it this far, man.
No, but listen, if I told y'all before the season that
shout out to you, man. Shout out to you.
Championship game. Come on now.
No, but they gotta win.
I wouldn't have.
They gotta win.
Yeah, it's about winning.
It's about winning. I don't care how far you go. You gotta win.
It's about winning.
And nobody can remember 5 years from now that they made the AFC Championship game unless they win.
Well, not only that,
let's
think about Cleveland. Like Cleveland was just here last year.
We just forgot they were in the playoffs playing against the Chiefs.
They tried.
So when you get here, you need to win it. You got to maximize that opportunity.
And the Bengals they're in position to control that division for the next few years. Because look what's going on in Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I mean,
Baltimore. I think Baltimore is gonna be back strong. They were just hurt.
They got a lot of free agents. They got a lot of free agents and injuries.
Yeah, if Baltimore was healthy, we looking at Cincinnati may not even be here.
I said you can say the same thing about the Cleveland Browns. You can't say that about the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, you can.
Like what? I probably heard y'all wrong with them. If I did, I'm sorry. I'm saying, but certain teams, you can measure their year on without going to the championship or winning the championship. That ain't for everybody, but certain teams you can. I'm gonna use Cincinnati for example. What Cincinnati record was last year?
3-13 or a 4-4? Yeah, something like that.
Win or lose this game, you had a damn good year.
Oh,
Bingo.
Great year. So what they won last year.
Bingo.
On the Cleveland, like y'all said, nobody don't remember who made it to the NFC Championship game. Oh, Cleveland went last year. The reason why you say that about Cleveland, because Cleveland had a bad year this year with injuries. Injuries hurt Cleveland. If Cleveland came back and had a solid year and didn't make it to the NFC Championship game or the AFC Championship game, you'd be like, shit, Cleveland still, they still make the attention, they still trying. But so certain teams, now you can't say that about Green Bay. Green Bay goes to the NFC Championship game. You
already know what Green Bay was.
Yeah, they don't go. You gotta be like, well, shit, man, you gotta win. You went out bad.
Yeah, and that was my point. That was my point. Why to go?
Man. Every team ain't got the same. Kansas City the same. Everybody ain't in them.
Well, I'm gonna just say this. I just hope that Cincinnati didn't peak early, because we see teams that do this. Like they way ahead of schedule, man.
I see them. They heal. I think they heal.
Yeah, for them,
lose, I think they got something. They're built on something.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's a drastic jump. They went from 4-12 before Burrow got there to being strapped with another top 5 pick this past draft to being in the AFC Championship. So there's nowhere to go but down from here, unless they win a Super Bowl.
I mean, but they got offensive line
I
issues,
still didn't
Walt,
say-
that they got to address in the
they
offseason.
still-
That
regardless of
offensive
who they
line
lose.
scares me, man.
Yeah.
That line scares me.
And I go back to what Coach Hugh Jackson told us, that they got to protect that guy. If not, he's not going to be there 10 years. Shoot, he might even be there 8 years.
Right.
But one thing about that though, that's a good thing. At least you know exactly what your problem is. Exactly what it is. Like, I know if we can get this together.
Hey, but I'm gonna say this.
They good.
It ain't that easy. Like sometimes it requires some luck to put together a solid 5 guys up front. Now, if you look at what Dallas did, what y'all did, y'all went out with the conscious effort to get Travis Frederick and to get Zach Martin and to get Tyrod Smith. Like y'all hit the lottery.
That was 2 years ago, bro. Them boys.
Yeah,
done.
but I'm saying, but when it happened, but I'm saying though, Block, like they put forth a conscious effort to go get guys.
Yeah.
And they actually hit the lottery because all 3 of those guys were like Pro Bowl Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And all pro.
They would.
It ain't that easy, man. Like look at us. Look at the Lions.
I know you're gonna think I'm trying to be funny by saying that, but Kansas City just rebuilt their whole line.
Yep.
With
Yeah,
a
they
conscious
did
effort.
with the Ricky at center.
With a conscious effort. Yeah. But they drafted the right guys with Creed Humphrey and
I know they pay folks to go find them folks.
But here's the thing. So the reason why they lost the Super Bowl last year was because they couldn't protect Mahomes and he didn't have enough time. So that's the reason why they lost that game. So going into the offseason, they already knew what they had to focus was the offensive line. Now, in the beginning,
do that sound like Cincinnati did offseason? Do that sound like can Cincinnati do that offseason? Can Cincinnati see how I got that Kansas City just probably just 8?
They can, but you got to draft the right guys too. And you have to sign the right guys also. It's not just
look. We all know the draft. It has a little bit to do with the luck as well.
Fidel, look at my team. Look at the Lions. Look how long it took for us to finally get an offensive line. Stafford never had a solid offensive line the entire time he was here. And as soon as he leaves, boom, we got it. We go out, we draft Penei Sewell. Now we did draft Frank Ragnow while he was here. Frank turned out to be a top 5 center.
Yep.
Taylor Decker's healthy, so we've got an offensive line now. It's not that easy. A lot of teams go 10, 15 years without putting together.
Trust me, I know. What was the one downfall towards, in the beginning of the season for the Raiders? It was the offensive line. They got rid of all their guys.
Yeah.
Besides Colton Miller.
Yeah, and we just went out year after year. It's not like we didn't put forth an effort to do it. We just kept drafting bad guys from Gosh to Sherless to Aaron Gibson. So we drafted a bunch of guys that just couldn't play.
Yeah. And look, I want to make this bold prediction because the game is about to start. I think the Bengals are going to win this game. Besides them covering, I'm going to go with the Bengals. And the reason why I say
should be a good one.
The reason why I say that is because everyone is expecting Kansas City to win. Go Bengals.
Go Bengals.
Ain't nothing wrong
Joe
with
Burr.
Go Bengals. Go Bengals. Go Bengals.
All right, guys.
All right, fellas. It's great having you guys on. Let's go enjoy this Sunday of football. Peace.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you know that. If you don't know nothing else.
Yes, sir.